Well, welcome everyone to Kickassery. This guy right here, my name's Dale Maxwell, and you're here with us today. And our technology worked today. I had a phenomenal show on Tuesday. Technology was not my friend. So, what is Kickassery? What are we doing here? Basically, this is my opportunity to reach out to the people who influence me, who have impacted me in one way or the other, whether directly or indirectly, and I get to share them with you. I get to put them out to the world, and we all get to take in their nuggets of wisdom and everything that comes with that. And today is of no exception. Uh, Jennifer Quinn is who we have on today. And Jennifer, I'm not going to list her resume because we'd be here for the entire time just talking about the things that she's amazing at. I have known Jennifer for a very long time. I'm very privileged and honored that she calls me friend. And when it comes to this industry right here, this live streaming, this internet-based video, she is the queen of queens. And if you are in this industry, if you're looking to be in the live streaming industry, if you're considering it, this is where you need to be right now. And this is the woman you need to know. As a matter of fact, she's also the author of this book right here, which went to Amazon's bestseller list. So with all of that, I would like to introduce to you, as soon as I get my technology worked out, Jennifer Quinn. Good afternoon. How you been?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fan-freaking-tabulous now that I'm looking at your face. All right, Jennifer, who are you? I can't do you justice. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you come from? Give us the lowdown.
First, I want to thank you for having me on. I'm so excited at what you're doing. It's been so great to see how you've just embraced live streaming and you're crushing it in your very own kickassery way. And so, like you said, we've known each other for longer than I probably want to admit. Because wait, that just totally didn't come out right. I'm just saying, we started years and years ago here in Boise, Idaho, where I live. And you actually were training me, on DJing, which was super fun. You're just like a fun guy. And so since then, I started my digital marketing company. I'm just going to go super fast through this. In 2007, in 2012, I pivoted to social media management. And then in 2015, I went hard into live streaming because, first of all, I loved it. I loved the people. I got a little bit addicted. And also, it's really where marketing is. As you know, by next year, 89% of all content consumed online will be video. So that's why I do what I do.
And technology work. Okay, so right here, this right here is what she has also done. Jennifer is considered what, the number 2 in the world by Clout?
I actually was named number 2 by Clout in live streaming, and that was really exciting and quite an honor. And it's just been a ride. The people that I've met have been phenomenal, and the things that I've learned, both personally and professionally, have been life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a very personal thank you for you, for sure, because let's back this up. The whole reason Kickassery is here today, it not in its current form, but you and I sat down. I reached out to you a year ago. Yeah, it would have been a year ago. And I said, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. And we were specifically talking about my body language stuff. And I was like, here, this is what I'm doing. What do you think? Because you were just in front of everybody, and you still are super influential. I'm like, what should we do? And you're like, you should live stream. There was no doubt. You're like, you should do this. And I was like, well, how? And you gave me some great pointers. And then as the progress is, and now we're sitting here. And so thank you. I appreciate you, because everybody else, it's her fault. It's her fault. Just so you know, it's her fault.
Well, it's my pleasure, but you're the one who's done the work. You're the one who has overcome your fear. You're the one who has learned the skills necessary. You took action, and that's what counts.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Absolutely. At the same time, though, we also need to have those influencers in our life, which is what Kickassery is all about, is just that influence, right? And that boot to ass when it's needed. And I've
And
needed
I've
that.
done that a couple times.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you have. And as a matter of fact, you're doing it with me right now. You're working with me I'm working on a workshop program right now. And I reached out to you and I'm like, so this is what I want to do. And so you're like, well, question 1, question 2, question 3, and I'm like, okay, so here's my answers. And you're like, nope, not good enough. Not good enough. And we all need that. We all need, okay. And what's your thoughts? Okay, we all need, as a matter of fact, I had a conversation with a gal earlier today about this, is that we all need someone to wrap us up in that blanket, right? And cuddle us and say, you're okay, we're good. But then we also have to have those people with that tough love that says, okay, get the hell out of the blanket and go get to work. Right?
Without question. Without question. I just did a physical transformation. I started the journey on my own where I, lost a significant amount of weight on my own, and then I hit a plateau. And fortunately, I found my trainer, Glenn Dawson, who's an online trainer, and he did that very thing for me. And so let me just wrap this up. So then I initially lost 70 pounds on my own, and then I lost 84 pounds with him after a plateau. So I lost half of my body weight, but I couldn't have done it without a coach. And when I identified what it was about him, it was a couple of things. First of all, he had knowledge I didn't have. He had experience I didn't have. He had a vision for me that I didn't have. And I had mad respect for him, and I was a little bit scared of him. And so those are the things, and that has played out. Whenever I reach out for a coach or a mentor, those things have to be there. And so, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm 100%.
Yeah.
Now, with that, going to the next level, you're at the top of the game, in my view, right? You're considered, you're best-selling author. You have interviewed some of the major players in the game. You are a keynote speaker and presenter for places all over the United States. So for those of us that do hit plateaus, because I'm sure I don't know where you're at, but I'm sure you even hit a plateau being at the top of the game. Like a plateau that I'm working against right now is, how do I reach that next level of professional? So of course, getting a coach and getting that kick in the ass is very important. But what do you have to say for those of us that are bootstrapping this and trying to get over a lot of these fears to move ourselves, try to get ourselves at least attempting to get to the next level?
So are you talking in generalities, or are you talking specifically about live streaming? I want to make sure.
Live streaming. Let's just keep it to the live streaming.
All right. So one of the things that I like to show my coaching clients is my very first interview that I did on a platform called Blab, because it was horrible. The lighting was terrible. My webcam was terrible. I don't mean a little fuzzy. It was horrible. The audio was bad. And I show it because I want people to know that it's important to start where you are with what you have and get your experience, get going, because for a long period of time, you will be developing your own style, your own strategy, your own branding, all these things. And what we tend to do is wait until that's all in place before we start. And it's never going to happen, because you're going to start and learn more about yourself, what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work. And it's all about course corrections, And so, even when you hit a plateau, just keep going and make course corrections. Get as much feedback from as many different people as you can, as varied as they are, because you're not going to be able to implement all the feedback, but something that someone says is going to make you go, that's it. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's where I'm going next. That's what I'm doing next.
Absolutely. Because it's happened to me 4 or 5 times just in the short period of time I've been doing kickassery.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you started the ball rolling. You're like, well, you should be doing this. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, awesome. And then I started out thinking, okay, well, this needs to be for my body language thing. Well, then I was getting feedback that wasn't supporting that. It was going a different direction. I'm like, okay, listen. And I made that adjustment. And then something else happened. I made that adjustment. You know, then you said, Dale, you need to up your game here, here, and here. Okay, yes, ma'am. You know, let's, and we just, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Because that analysis paralysis, it prevents a lot. It really does. I mean, I'm guilty of it. It's happened to me. It really has. You know, so let me.
I think it happens to everybody. I think it happens to everybody.
It does. It does. It absolutely does. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with someone not too long ago about that. I was like, stop. Just stop. Take action and then figure it out, because you have enough information that it's fine right now. It really is.
Yes. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You've interviewed and worked with some very high level, high performing, highly visible people in the world. Did that come naturally for you? Or did you have to build up the courage to talk to them? Or did you just go out and say, I'm Jenny Q, bitch, let's roll?
No, not at all. Not at all the latter. So I had a vision of what I wanted to create. And in the beginning, almost every single time, I was afraid to ask someone to be on my show because none of us really like rejection. But I knew that I had a vision, and I knew that the answer was no if I didn't ask. And so I just kept asking, and was very grateful. I still am very grateful every time someone's willing to take their time to share their knowledge and their wisdom, not only with me, but with my viewers. And so definitely there was fear asking, there was fear getting online, there was fear that I wouldn't have done enough research and homework and due diligence for each guest, that I would get on and look stupid. I remember one of my early interviews, I had gone to someone's LinkedIn profile and printed out the entire thing so that I could study it. And it was like, and I made a comment on the, on the interview, and I held up this stack of papers. It was just so thick. And I said, I printed out your entire LinkedIn profile. He went, you printed the whole thing out? I can't believe you did that. I was like, I wanted to be prepared. Like, I was so afraid of looking stupid. And so there's a ton of fear wrapped up in this. So that part, overcome the fear, yes. Now, one thing that did come naturally to me, and we've known each other, so I'm just naturally curious about what makes people tick. And it doesn't matter if I'm on an interview, if I'm hanging out at the grocery store, if I'm at a party, if I'm at a networking event. I just am naturally curious, so that was kind of a fit there. In fact, now when I'm hanging out with people, they're like, could you stop interviewing me? I'm like, no, you have it backwards. I'm not interviewing you. This is what I do, and you just see me do it on live video, because that's just what I do.
You have a genuine interest in people.
It's true.
You really do. I mean, I remember DJing with you for like 10 hours straight or whatever that time was. And the whole time it was just, but we're both talkers. We're both communicators. And I love it, man. I absolutely love it. And you have found a platform and a niche that's worked really well for you.
Right. I feel very lucky because of all the things that I do for, in my profession. My very favorite thing is hopping on live and doing an interview. I love it. It lights me up. I love to learn. I love to share knowledge. I love to shine the light on other people. And so I just feel really lucky that live streaming came along so I could do it.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I'm absolutely with you on that. So now that you're where you're at in the career, the hierarchy, or I don't know how else to say it, how often are you still doing your regular weekly show?
No, actually, I've been on hiatus for some time while I've been building some other things. But tomorrow, actually, I'm launching season 4 of the Jenny Q Show. It started out as the Daily Q Show on Blab. Then it went to the Jenny Q Show. on Facebook, where it was Facebook Live's first variety show. I did 2 seasons there, and then tomorrow I'm launching season 4, and it's with a little bit of a spin. It's the Jenny Q Show, Life and Business on Purpose. So I'm interviewing people who are living out their purpose, whether it's in life or in business. And we're going to talk about that and what it is that drives them to do what they do. And tomorrow, I couldn't be more excited. David Avocado Wolf, who is arguably the leading expert in raw food and nutrition, he has graciously agreed to be on my show. And I'm just, I'm beside myself. I'm just over the moon for that. So.
That's so exciting, and way to rock it out. Just knock it out of the park on your first one out. I love it.
Well, I consider it luck.
No, you're Jenny Q. There's no luck. You just say, hey, by the way, and I can, okay, everybody else, Jenny, be quiet for a second. So I can see how this conversation rolls. Is Jenny calls up or sends an email and she says, hey, I'm Jenny Q. You need to be on the show. And they say, yes, ma'am.
No, you're so entirely off. It just so happened that I met David Wolf at the Traffic and Conversion Conference in San Diego. And so the first thing that happened was my friend Lynn is just crazy about him. And so I was like, well, I got to find out who this guy is, because I didn't know who he was, which is a little embarrassing to say now. But, and then I was like, wow, he's got so many people who just are waiting to talk to him. So I sent a screenshot to my colleague, Dave Lacani. I'm like, do you know this guy? He's like, know him. I've worked with him. And so he said, super nice guy. I said, I wonder if he'd be on my show. He said, ask. I was like, yeah, of course. And so, when I met David Wolf, what I found was this huge heart, kind soul, amazing human. And so I asked, and he said yes. And so we're doing it. And it wasn't until after my time that I was able to hang out with him, and we went to a workshop together and stuff. I gave him a copy of my book. It wasn't until after that that I started researching him more thoroughly and went, oh, snap. Dang, okay, game on, let's do this, because he's written 9 books. He's, has done multiple documentaries on food and nutrition, and he's like the NutriBullet spokesperson. It goes on and on and on and on and on, his resume. So
that's incredible. And the thing that really helps me, because I'm a networker. You know me. That's how we met. It was in a networking deal there in Boise, or out in Meridian. I can't remember where it was. And so networking is just something that I really love doing. And I kind of feel like I'm pretty decent at it, right? But when we moved here to Ohio, I chose, I'm not going to get involved in the local business, because I'm going to concentrate on this, my book, my family, and then that's it. Well, this, by doing these interviews, by being connected with you, by you connecting me with other people like Brian, it's my way of networking. And this is the live streaming environment, especially with the platform we're on right now, is called Be Live. So having this platform, there's other groups and there's Facebook groups, and so it's networking, and it's been incredible. Some of the people I've gotten to know around the world. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is life-changing, no question. When I started on Periscope in 2015, which I can't believe it's already been 3 years, but I attended the first Periscope Summit in New York City that fall. And then in January, they had the second one in San Francisco. And so that's where I was able to connect with the people who had met online through live streaming, and it was amazing, lifelong friendships, no question.
Absolutely, and it's incredible because now I've gotten to the point where I'm now reaching outside of my own personal bubble to get people onto the show. A couple of weeks ago, I was referred or introduced by another guy that was on the show, John Mayhew. He's like, hey, you've got to meet Seth. Seth is my man. He's a high level coach. You got to talk to him, right? I'm like, okay, cool. I'll talk to anybody, right? 30 minutes on the phone. He and I just like click like no other. I'm like, you want to be on the show? He's like, yeah, when can we start? How about next week? He's like, done, and done. And it was so incredible. But even, and it's, you find what you look for, right? I mean, it's funny moving here. This is so off the subject, but no, it's not. Driving Uber here in Dayton. Now, Dayton doesn't have the best reputation right now for their drug issues and things like that. Okay. So I drive locals around and they're like, so what do you think of Dayton? They're kind of like, okay, what kind of crap are you going to say about our hometown, right? My answer usually is you find what you look for. You know what? If I'm looking around here and I'm looking for crap and I'm looking for the badness and I'm same way in people that we meet all over the place, guess what we're going to find?
Totally. Yeah.
And so it's amazing having the right attitude and the right mindset. You can walk in and find pretty much good people wherever you go. And this just expands that. It's incredible.
Amen. It really does. That totally does.
So let's do this. We've got about 10 more minutes. Can you believe 20? Wow. I love you. You are so awesome and good, and time flies when you and I are talking. So let me ask you this. Let's go back to the live streaming thing a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been really fun because I'm talking to live streamers who have even less experience than I do. Actually, let me back up a second. I didn't realize I have as much experience live streaming as I do. I've been doing my own little vlog thing for like 4 years. I sat down and did the math the other day. I've done somewhere between 800 and 1,000 live streams in the last 4 years.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
Awesome.
I didn't even think about it. I was like, so a buddy of mine, he's like, well, you have a lot more experience than you think you do. I'm like, whatever. So anyway, so I'm working with a lot of people that have even less experience than me that are really just getting started, or, they've done one or two. What are some of your, what's like 2 little points or 1 little point you can give these folks that are really just getting started? They don't know what the hell they're doing, which is awesome because they're doing it anyway. What's a piece of advice for them, or a rah-rah-ree?
So the first thing that I teach people who are brand new getting started, and I tell them, lurk. Watch.
Be a stalker. It's okay.
Be a stalker. Watch as many other live videos as you can. It doesn't matter which platform. You can watch on Periscope. You can go to Twitter. You can go to Instagram. Go to YouTube, Facebook, and just watch live videos, because you're going to see, number 1, what works, and number 2, what doesn't work, and more importantly is how you want to come across. And do so as if you're doing research or a science experiment or something. You don't want to do it in a critical, judgmental way, but you really want to get information. Okay, even now when you're watching Dale and I, think, oh, that's cool the way he does that, and but when she does this, I don't love it that much. It's not me. It's not going to represent my brand. It's not going to get my story. Whatever. Take those notes and actually take notes. Take notes. When I first started, I was watching so many Periscope broadcasts, and I was doing that very thing. And I was just filling up a notebook saying, I don't like it when people wait too long to get into their content. I don't like it when people interrupt their message to interact with people. Now, that doesn't mean don't interact with people. That's the whole point of live video. But what you don't want to do is make it so hard for people to follow your message because you're interacting with that, and you'll lose people. So, but you'll discover those things on your own. And really, that's one of the best tips I have. Just start lurking. Make sure that you are watching, especially whichever platform you want to go live on, because the platforms all have different cultures. For example, on Periscope, if you jump right in and get to your content, then you may offend some people, because Periscope's much more conversational. But if you hop onto a Facebook Live and you're all about having a conversation with your viewers, you're going to lose people because people on Facebook want their information now. So get used to the culture.
Absolutely. I think there's two things there for sure is culture of the platform. That's very, very important. And I've been having a lot of those conversations as well, is people don't realize that, you know, what works on Facebook Live may not work being regurgitated over on YouTube as not a live, but just regurgitated, you know, and vice versa and whatnot. So those are all things to take into consideration. But to be honest with you, the other part beyond lurking is when you're going through and you're watching these and you're trying to figure out what doesn't or does work for you, is what's the outcome you want? What is your goal? What is the purpose of what you're doing? You know, because if you don't know what the outcome is, which is why I struggled at the beginning as well, because I was confused. I'm like, once again, I jumped in the deep end and then I figured out how to swim. But it became clear over time, and it's continuing to be clear as I go along. You know, but we have a great question here. Chuck says, what do you think about using hashtags in your live stream video description?
That is a great question, and it depends on the platform. So I don't recommend it for Facebook. However, if you are going live from Periscope or directly Twitter, then absolutely hashtag the heck out of it.
Instagram?
YouTube, what? Well, Instagram? No, because that doesn't really show up anywhere. That's not really, people get a notification when you go live if they're following you. But I do, and then it stays in your story, right? Your live video. But I definitely think that when you're on Periscope and Twitter, that's how people will discover you, because you can go to Twitter and you can search, you know, Periscope and then the hashtag that you want and find all of the broadcasts on that. Let's say you want cooking, right? Cooking on Periscope. So you would go to Twitter, hashtag, you know, search for cooking, hashtag cooking, hashtag Periscope, and you're going to find all the broadcasts.
Awesome. What do you think about YouTube?
YouTube, I have to say no, unless it's just one, because that will feed out to Twitter when people share it. But there are other better ways to optimize your title and your description on YouTube.
Yeah, utilizing your description, keywords, all that stuff. That, you know, we got to remember that YouTube is Google, you know, and so all of the SEO, and I mean, there's a whole other world of video SEO that comes into that. So
exactly.
Awesome. Okay, but you know, and you bring up a valid point. I mean, how many true live video platforms are there now?
Oh, countless. But there are the big players right now, and that would be Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I'm thinking the last numbers I saw, Facebook and YouTube were neck and neck, still vying for the top spot. But I think Facebook's a little bit ahead, but it changes. And then Periscope is there, definitely much lower than the others. But Instagram seems to be where everyone's heading.
Why is that, do you think? I'll be honest with you. I've been struggling with video on Instagram personally, and maybe it's a lack of knowledge. I don't know.
Instagram just has a different demographic, and that demographic is more active on social. And if your audience is on Instagram, go to Instagram. And that's what I say. Find out where your audience is. Do a little bit of research. Find out where your audience is active and go live there, because that's really a good place to start.
Well, and then of course you have the micro, you know, the Snapchats, and that's a whole nother culture right there as well.
True. Snapchat, though, has been making some really poor choices, and people are leaving Snapchat in droves. So if you're not already on Snapchat with an existing audience, I don't know that now's the time to jump in.
So if we are okay, so we have just a couple more minutes. So we've been told Snapchat, if you're going for the younger audiences, you know, the younger millennials, the Generation Zs, the high school kids, if that's your market, that's where you need to be, the Instagrams, the Snapchats. So where do we, if Snapchat's struggling right now, and if we're looking for the younger millennials, the older teens, where do we go to get a hold of them then?
Yeah, Instagram
Okay.
or YouTube. YouTube for the younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my kids love YouTube Kids.
Exactly.
Holy smokes. They
Yep.
are like addicted to that crap. And we have to like wean them off like crack. It's horrible.
Yes, it is true. It is.
Okay, so everyone, I've neglected a couple of things because once I start talking to Jenny, it just goes and goes and goes. She has amazing insight, great stories. I need you guys to do me some favors, share this out, comment a little bit more down below. I need this to go out there. And this is a whole nother conversation for another day, is the algorithms with Facebook and everything that goes along with that. But I need you guys, if you don't mind, share. Get this out there so then that way we can spread Jenny around a little bit more than she already has been, because she's already, the queen of all that is live streaming. And I am super, super proud and humble that she is here with us today. Chuck has one more thing here for us. With both YouTube, Facebook allowing us to go live from our desktops with our webcams is the big win for all of us. And that's very true. That's very true. And I find it interesting that, so Be Live, that's the platform that I'm using here. So Be Live with Facebook requires these kind of platforms, and they put parameters on them so that they can only do certain things in a certain way. And I find it very interesting how Facebook is basically making sure that they have more opportunities than everyone else, which is fine. It's their platform. It makes sense,
Right.
And it's funny to me when people get all bent out of shape when Facebook or YouTube makes changes and everyone's like, oh my God, they're trying to ruin our business. It's a free platform. It's free. Why are we squawking about something that we can reach millions of people for free?
You're totally right. You're totally right. We need to remember that this is borrowed space on Facebook, and that's why it's so important to make sure that your website is solid. You have places to drive your traffic to your owned space, which is your website, your email list. You own that. You're not borrowing it. And so, yeah, you're right.
And you are a perfect example of that, because you started at Periscope and then that kind of changed. You jumped over on Blab, they went under, then you jumped, so you've jumped the platforms and you've stayed successful, you've stayed relevant, and you haven't gotten your legs cut out from under you because you've stayed on top of your business.
Well, exactly. And that's why I made my book platform agnostic. It is not a Facebook Live book. It is not a Periscope book. It is not a YouTube Live book. It's all about skills that you need to go live on any platform. And I get that for a reason, because I don't know. I mean, honestly, it's not likely, but any given day we could wake up and Facebook says, the whole live thing's not working for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take your skills that you've learned and transfer them to something else.
Absolutely. Or the next Vine could come around and say, it's a consumer driven industry,
Right.
And Facebook and YouTube have everybody's attention right now, but that's not guaranteed. You're absolutely right. So, all right, Jenny, any last pieces of wisdom and nuggets?
There's so many. I would just underscore, video is definitely where you want to be if you're building your brand, whether it's personal brand or business, and just get started and make course corrections as you go. Don't wait for it to be perfect, because it is never going to be perfect.
Amen to that. Perfect. We're human. Guess what? We're human. We're kind of flawed. We screw up. It kind of happens a lot right here. So anyway, Jenny, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. Hang out for just a few minutes. And do you mind putting your contact info in the comments when we're all finished?
Not at all. I'd be happy to. It's just jennyqlive.com. But Dale, before I hop off, I want to tell you, keep going. You're doing awesome. Congratulations on your success, and I can't wait to see even more. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stick around for just a second. Jennifer Quinn, Jenny Q, we go way back. It's weird to think that I taught her how to DJ years ago, that I actually knew something more than she did at one point in life. But I truly cherish everything that she has mentored me through and kicked me in the ass and knocked my teeth in on with love and genuine heart. I'm telling you, if this is something, if this is a platform, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, whatever, you're doing video, you're either doing it already or you've been considering on it, doing it, don't consider it anymore. Just do it. Just do it. You know, and I highly, highly, highly suggest right there, that's what you're looking for right there, is this needs to be your Bible. This needs to be your jump off point, because she's got everything in there that you need to know to get started and then make it your own. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I need you to share this out for me, please. Make some more comments in the bottom. We'll have some great conversation. Holy smokes. We have the one, the only Mitch Jackson stopped in with us. So hold on. I got to bring Jenny in on this. Jenny, do you see who's on here with us? You don't know this guy.
I'm glad that I didn't just start shoving my face full of food or something.
It's my job to screw with everybody that's on here. So anyway,
I'm all checking text messages, and I glance up and I'm like, oh, yay. Anyway, yes, Mitch Jackson. Hello, Mitch Jackson. He is streaming.lawyer. He's a contributor in my book. He's one of the people, Dale, that I was talking about, that we connected on Periscope, and then I met him in person in New York City. I met him and his wife, Lisa, and then we met again in San Francisco, and then this last trip down to San Diego. On the way down, I was so happy that we were able to connect. And here's the cool thing that happened. I went to Mitch's lovely home and saw his wife that I had seen. Well, I met her in person, but saw his dog that I had seen on the live streams, and saw the school fields where his son competes in sports, and saw the Dana Point Marina where he runs, and live streams from. And it was like we knew each other more than what it would have made sense to do because of live streaming. And so, yeah, the connections you make on live streaming are real. And, you really, and I've learned so much from Mitch, and you really can change the world one live stream at a time. I completely believe that. And get your message out, get your story out, and meet some amazing people.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Mitch, thank you a ton for joining us. Okay, Jenny, I promise I'll leave you alone now.
Okay. I'm going to wait though, because I just don't know.
All right. So, she was talking about, stalking people. I stalked Mitch a little bit as well, trying to see what he does and how he does it. And here's the thing, guys, this is where you need to be. If you've considered on doing it, just like I said a moment ago, if this is what you want to do it. Just do it. Just go out and do it. Make it happen. Reach out to Jenny and ask, she does one-on-one coaching. She's a phenomenal coach. I'm here to answer questions. I don't have the answer she does, but guess what? This is a community, and this is how we do it. So guys, once again, this is Kick-Assery. I truly appreciate you. And keep smiling, guys, because somebody's going to need it. I'll talk to you guys soon.